Hello, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here, and I am so thrilled to be with Lou Valentino again. We have so much to discuss. We only got to like 0.00001% last time when we spoke. We'll connect our last conversation in the description below, and you can definitely reach out to Lou directly. His links are below as well. But Lou, let's talk a little bit more about this Pleiadian energy, the Pleiadian contact. One of the questions I wanted to ask you last time that really came forward is how did you know or when did you first determine that somebody or something was reaching out to talk through you?
Well, I think it was around 1997. I was having a flood of thoughts on a daily basis that kept repeating itself on all these different topics about life. Just the way humanity, the stream of humanity's thought process is running on this planet. And it got to the point where, I really, I started writing things down, journaling, and I started typing at the computer, and then I felt like it was flowing, like in a way that I couldn't express when I wasn't in this state of awareness of having my fingertips touch the keyboard. And I had started studying about UFOs and that sort of thing when I was 26 years old. So that was, almost back in, I guess, maybe 84, something like that, the early 80s. And so I already had that kind of background of reading a lot of books, And so I started doing this channeling, and it was automatic writing. And what happened was when my wife died of breast cancer about 16 years ago, 2009, I kind of had all this energy going on for a while, this thought process. And then I said, I got to start writing this, doing this now. My wife would want me to, channel. For those of you who've lost loved ones, through some kind of a health issue or maybe unexpectedly through an accident, there is a part of you that for a while is here on earth, but there's another part of you that isn't here. It's really a weird feeling. And so there's this state of suspension. So in that state of suspension, which was 2009, I had already started the book in 2007, channeling the information. And then when 2009 came, I really took all the information, most of it, and said, now you got to just, write a book or something, and that's what kind of inspired me with the channeling. The Pleiadians, how did I get to the Pleiadians? It was not intentional. Let's put it that way. It kind of came, it grew on me. That's the word I want to use. It kind of grew on me. So when I first started in 2009 to get the first edition of Full Moon Messages from the Pleiadians, I had already taken full moons. Those were the times that I really wanted to do most of the channeling, because the Pleiadians are a lunar-based culture. So they value, according to channel information that I got, that they don't have phases of the moon. Their moons are always full because they feed, part of their diet is to feed on those lunar rays. So I basically, every full moon in 2007 and 8, I would sit down and set everything up and then have a certain topic. Maybe it was the new romantic life that we would experience coming in the future. Because the specialty was with the Pleiadians is my own inner desire was, okay, I've been meditating for a number of years, decades. We're light beings, we're volunteers, we're star seeds, we're this, we're that. What's the specifics about what you're going to bring to this planet? We really need to be inspired on this planet, big time. And we're not
Yes.
getting, you know what I'm saying? We're not getting enough information from the media, from politics, from religion, from every economics, healthcare especially. And so I really, my main motivation was, to channel information from the Pleiadians that would be inspirational and new. What is what kind of courage something? So that's kind of like a nutshell. But the visualization of it at the beginning is there was two beings on the side of me that were kind of cloudy. They were, but the solid one was in my third eye. And it looked like a printing from Gilbert Williams, who is a visionary artist. And it had this face, and it kind of looked like Lord Ashtar in a way. This is one painting. There's a lot of different pictures of Lord Ashtar. And so then that kind of grew on me, and I did the first edition. Now, when I did the first edition, it was just flowing. I just could, the chapters, everything went fine. And
let me ask you here though. Okay, so you're sitting and journaling, you have some thoughts. And how do you recognize that all of a sudden thoughts are beyond what you would suspect is your own thoughts? Like, was it pretty obvious right away that you were channeling information from some other source, or
Yeah,
did it build up over time?
it did build up over time, but remember, it started like in 1997. So here I am sitting down, starting to really take everything that I was channeling from 2007 to 2009 and trying to put it into a book form. So that's
Yeah. I just had like an interesting channeling experience maybe about a month ago where it was like 2 in the morning and I was just writing down some thoughts. And then all of a sudden, like thoughts that I wasn't planning to write down were coming through as though I was being like someone was talking to me. And I was quickly writing down everything I could as fast as I could. Um, but I
that's
haven't really been able to tap back into that. It's been about a month now. So, when you say you set up an area, you get ready, you actually prepare for this type of communication.
yeah, yeah. You light incense, you light a candle, and then you have a topic in mind. You start to write around that topic and channel. Yeah, it grows on you. I guess the words I want to use is whatever you put your attention on grows. So in your experience, it's going to grow, and you keep putting attention on it. It's like anything else in life. You hone into something and you put your attention on it, and then it just keeps growing. And yes, so for me, it's I have developed. I developed my heart chakra to a great extent, and so it's more about feelings. It's more about taking the topic and dipping it into the feelings. This is the new education that's coming that they're going to teach us is we take knowledge, it goes inside, and we experience it on very, very deep levels that bypass the intellect.
Yes.
The intellect is there, but we're going very deep and feeling the subject, and when you get into this subtle level of feelings, that's where for me at least, that's where the channeling starts. And it just goes. And the background of starting meditation in 1978, it was August the 19th. So I've almost gotten to 46 years coming up this month.
Yeah.
And I've never
I
stopped.
appreciate it. In
When
my
you,
books too, the way my books are laid out and what comes to
yeah,
me, I know I'm co-creating.
yeah, see,
But yes, yeah, so I am
very good.
co-creating those books because I don't know how all of that could come together in my own head if I was doing it alone. And so your book, right, The Full Moon Messages from the Pleiadians and the Preparation Phase, which is starting, right,
Yes,
2024
yes,
to 2044.
that's
So
correct.
those are messages that you've collected for a period of time for this time and space.
Yeah, because astrologically, I've been a professional astrologer for over 30 years. So Pluto and Aquarius, I'm picking on Pluto because that's where the attention is drawn to. And Pluto, the Aquarian age really, so nobody really knows when it started. They think maybe I think it was February of 1962 or 64, around there. And then there's other astrologers that feel it could have started when the invention of electricity and all that. So I think the Pluto in Aquarius has usually a 20-year period. So we're looking at 2024 to 2044, that Pluto will be in the sign of Aquarius. And what is Aquarius about? It is about social groups, community groups, smaller groups, and a new way of looking at all these areas of life. Okay, religion, politics, economics, healthcare, romance. We're getting new ideas now. That's what the new age is. It's about new ideas, new, not hanging on to the old. One of the affirmations that would be good that listeners can do on a daily basis is, I let go of the old and embrace all the wonderful new that the universe has for me. I let go of the old and embrace all the wonderful new that the universe has for me. So like your book, there's affirmations, that like in your book, you have these keys, you call them, at the end of each chapter. I love that. So that affirmation helps to channel the energies that are going on, right, especially from Pluto. And instead of having it be like we're seeing on TV right now, especially all this stress and tension going on, it helps to have a nice flow to the transformation rather than it be, less than positive.
So I love this, and I love the fact that you're really honing in on a certain time frame, because as you told me before, spirituality and the energies outside of this planet don't always hold on to time frames and such.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
when you think about your book and think about the messages that came through for this time period, and specifically, what are some messages that you want people to know about right now? Let's start with one. Yes.
One of the messages right now, especially right now, is to hold on to the light, to be able to do something that's inspiring and using your creative abilities to benefit humanity. Right? That's a lot of the, it's a political environment right now, especially visualizing all these leaders that are running. This is the United States of America. So people watching, they may be watching this video from Europe or India or wherever, that you're visualizing these leaders in a ball of white light and maybe some little gold in there to help protect them, because we are at a point, we're at a very serious turning point. And of course, the old is trying to hold on. Okay. So the more you hold on to the old, the more stressful it's getting. So the information today that I'm getting is to kind of hold on to the light in whatever way you can. The regular practice of meditation is very good. I teach a technique called inner grace meditation, which uses sound or a mantra to settle the mind down and go into a deep state of rest. So if people can, practice more of their spirituality, be more committed. I don't know. It's very interesting because terrorist groups are very committed to killing people. They're so good at it that they're making us look kind of not so good. So I think the light worker communities need to commit more to group meditations and those. That's my message today, to kind of calm down some of the stress. And we've heard that before in the past from other teachers, but
And do you believe that like there's different frequencies and people live on different frequencies? Because like I feel like I don't know, I can't resonate with terrorist energy at all, and it's like a different frequency. I don't even feel like I'm experiencing that. Do you feel
Well,
like that?
science says everything is energy, and then
Hmm.
spiritualists and religious people say everything is God. They're both saying the same thing, but science doesn't say everything is energy, but terrorists. You see, everything is energy, but J.J. Geronimo. Everything is a part of that perfected energy, that perfection, that creative intelligence is, that God is. So even though they are a shirt turned inside out, okay,
Yeah.
they're still a part of God's creation. And, and I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, that it's all together. You can't really separate out from energy. That makes a lot of sense to me. But I do agree with you. I think there's a lot of light workers, a lot of volunteers, a lot of people that have chosen to be here now. Why do you think that's the case?
it really had a flood of volunteers after World War II, because they realized in the higher worlds that you know there's this free will clause that goes on, with higher dimensions and other extraterrestrial beings that are more benevolent. They are not allowed to interfere with what goes on here on Earth. There are certain circumstances where they could, but the planet has to be a threat to itself or its own survival. So when World War II happened and we dropped the atomic bomb, that was like, to them, that's it. We're not going to allow this anymore, you know? And so if that was ever to happen again, the good news today is we're not going to have a full blown out nuclear war on this planet. Okay. They won't allow it. They will shut down everything. All of the, if they see it all, they're monitoring it very closely. But if they see any country trying to shoot a nuclear bomb from the skies or out of the ocean or wherever, they will shut it down and it will not happen. So that's good news for everybody.
That is good news. And like people say, and I believe this, and you talk a lot about UFOs and sightings of UFOs, which we definitely need to go into more context. But I feel like clouds oftentimes have such interesting shapes that there is sort of
Yeah, they do.
participation happening in the sky.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's certain vibrational frequencies that are set up that are more subtle and etheric. And sometimes it appears the clouds, like I even wrote a song called Look Up to the Sky. And it's about the clouds and everything and how everything's always shifting. So there are energies involved in clouds sometimes that are affiliated with spaceships that are more etheric, or energies that are more etheric. The volunteers are flooded in after World War II. There's millions right now. I don't know how many. I've heard 7 million, but I've also heard more than that. But we have over 8 billion people on the planet. So we don't have, the light workers really have to be dedicated and really to their programs, and really be serious about it. They can't be like, sometimes I get people going, well, I have my own form of meditation, and I do. I says, that's beautiful. I says, now, when's the last time you meditated? That's the question I ask them. And they say, oh, well, I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago. I was hiking in the woods or something. And so that's not dedication. Dedication is getting up. It's like we dedicate ourselves to the dullest state of consciousness we can experience in the human nervous system, which is our deep sleep cycle, because we're not aware of anything. So we dedicate, a number of hours to that every day. But that's because we're trained by our parents from the beginning. They knew to, you didn't want to go to bed when you were a kid and I want to watch TV. No, shut that TV off now. It's time for bed. You got to go to bed. We got trained on how to experience that state of consciousness. We haven't been trained spiritually. It's been a long time. So if people can get back to their practice, and be more regular with it, the world is in trouble. Okay. I don't mean to sound negative, but it's just that from now until the late spring of 2025, we have, especially with the political environment that we have going on, not only in America, but in Kenya. Haiti is a mess. Israel, Ukraine. This is getting a little, too much. So we need to be really focused on our practice. Getting your book, if people want to, this is a good book to get for journaling and getting to know, where do I go from here? What do I do? It's a wonderful book for people, especially starting off. But even people like myself, you always can read something and learn something from another teacher, even if you've been involved with this for decades.
Yeah, I really, I wrote Seeking, my third book, because I had to get inside, right? I'd been living outside my body for so long, and I had to really get inside and figure out what energy I've been collecting along the way, what relationships had been impacting me, and how to kind of clean up my vessel so I could shine brighter, not only for myself, but for other people on the path. And I think a lot of people right now are trying to figure out what to do. Right.
Yes.
They know they need to do more, but they're not really sure how to lean in a way that they think would be effective.
Yeah, that's your book definitely points that out. And there's journaling in it at the end, a nice key, those keys that people can, circulate through their consciousness, during the day or whatever. So yeah, I would get her book. It seems to be geared a little bit towards women, but I think men could also get something out of this. And the other thing about men is if you read it, they can get to know women better.
Yes, I think so.
you
So
know?
you're thinking, you're at a place right now where you've had your book out for a while. You've been sharing messages from the Pleiadians. We are on the brink of a huge shift.
Hmm.
Like as we think about this, what do people need to maybe internalize? What do people could be doing, or what is a message you want to share right now?
Well, all the techniques in holistic healthcare are valuable. So if you
Mhm.
look up anything like, yoga, maybe you want to go to a yoga studio and do some yoga, some breathing techniques. The yoga system has a lot of purification techniques. So to purify from within is the hallmark of what we need to be doing right now. I would say, yeah, between now and May of 2025, really cleaning out a lot, drinking a lot of water, is very helpful. Taking high quality vitamin and mineral supplements. This gentleman here is on HSN. His name is Andrew Lessman, and he is the founder of ProCaps. He would laugh if I told him this, but he's a volunteer from the sixth dimension. The star seeds, the volunteers come from the fifth and the sixth dimension. 80% are from the fifth and only 20% from the sixth. So for yourself, even if you're involved with the Pleiadians, it's most likely you come from the sixth dimension. The sixth dimension, I find they're more heart-centered. They're moving towards the seventh dimension, which is God consciousness. So they're almost like there's this pull. You know what I'm saying? And the fifth dimensional volunteers make great teachers. They're here to share teachings. They write books. They make great authors. But they're not really that interested as much in helping humanity out and caring for the poor and that sort of thing. And you'll see this with teachers even from India and the yoga community. There's certain teachers that really want to have a humanitarian, maybe they give money to certain organizations that help children who are starving and this sort of thing. But both are very equally important. It's not like one is better than the other. It's just that we have this pulling of devotion to a higher. It's more, a little bit, not, I want to say religious because that's not good, but it's more, they're more dedicated. They really feel the suffering. You and I have something in common astrologically because we both have Cancer rising in our chart. Okay, and that the moon rules Cancer. The moon is affiliated with women. It's affiliated with the mother. And it is affiliated with the Pleiadians. Okay, so we have this. I'm getting kind of shivers talking about this, but we have this. We're almost able to feel. We don't have to even travel anywhere. We can, if we see it on TV or something, it goes right in. And boy, I mean, I could start crying. And even though I never voted for former President Trump, when I turned the TV on, it was only a few moments after he had gotten almost killed. And I'm like, where is he? I mean, I'm looking at the TV. Where is it? And all of a sudden, the security, they lift him up, and he had blood on his face. So, I just, America has gotten so violent. I just wish they would just calm down. So you're seeing it in me right now. Yeah, I can get very emotional, very sensitive, and so that's part of our signature is a high level of. So we have to be very careful who we hang out with and what we're doing, and we absorb things like a sponge, like a walking. We have to put a lot of white light around us. We may not want to watch the news that much. It just gets, seeing all it. It's too much,
Yeah, it's too much.
You know what I mean? So I think the reason why I got so sensitive, here's a 78-year-old man, they're lifting off the ground, blood on his face, shirt is all open. I'm like, come on. I mean, you don't have to like somebody, but this is crazy. Please, let's calm down. So the stress levels and all that, we can visualize light going and love going into the world into just different areas that are going on. I mean, even
Yeah, the volunteers have so much to do. I feel like they have so much to do right now. We're trying to connect one another. I believe one of the reasons I do this podcast and this conversation is to connect light workers to light workers because we need to multiply our energy and we've been doing it individually for so long. that coming together with multiple people, like you and I just having this conversation, activates our energy at a new level. And I feel like this is the time that light workers need to gather and work together. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt it when I was meditating with 3,000 people at Maharishi International University back in 1981. And then again, I went out there in 2007. So yeah, that was Maharishi's hallmark, really, was that he did research showing that if 1% of a society meditated together, the crime rate would go down, hospital admissions would go down, car accidents would go down, and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, what you're doing is very, very, it's a calling, and you're doing something about that. And that is very, very good to bring people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I love our conversations. I could talk to you all day, Lou, because I feel like we are just really scratching the surface of the messages that you're receiving. And I hope you will join me again because I really would like to dive into some of the really specific things that are happening and what the Pleiadians are saying because of it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to end with the political, ideology of the Pleiadians. He says here that our political system, this is Ayin, my soul twin brother that I channel. Our political system is non-political. We do not encourage competing or taking sides. We certainly do not need to manipulate each other through any physical means, since we work with light frequencies of energy very well. Love is free in our culture. It is not something we mold with the machinery of mind. We do not live in fear as you do, so we have no need to protect love from itself. Politics is another form of duality, regardless of the form it takes. Your institutions make promises they cannot keep because it is run by man's monster mind, built up to protect it from losing security in life. But the building up of mind only perpetuates the need to protect life, which was freely given to humans a long time ago. So that's,
Mm,
how that energy, the reason why I'm reading is because when I channel it, it's hard for me to recapture what
yes.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You write a book
Yeah.
and, and now you got to present it as an author and you're trying to get back into that space you're in and have it flow in a way that is, really effortless.
Completely. And I just feel that, the messaging is we are love and that we can be love and that we need to protect and create this kind of energy around us that allows us to be the love that we are and not necessarily lean into what is being told to us, but lean into what we are feeling.
Self-empowerment is a really big thing with Pluto and
Yeah.
Aquarius. On my a video on my YouTube account, the front video is Pluto and Aquarius. So I do
Well,
talk.
let's link it. Like, give me the link. We'll add it to this video. You can get the link below.
I think you
And
have the YouTube.
hopefully,
I think you have the YouTube link on there, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. And then, yes. And then hopefully we can continue this discussion, Lou. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a nice
God
day.
bless.
Swa- Very good.